Greetings on this Wednesday, and thanks for being here on a cold, wintry day. Topped out at about 3 inches, about halfway as to what we could have seen on the high side of forecast and predictions. No complaints do I hear. I mean, as far as that is concerned, probably a few that we saw any at all, and that's understandable at this point in our winter. Again, thank you for being a part of the program this evening. A quick reminder, tomorrow's edition of the Sayersville Independent will be our 57th District Tournament edition, as, of course, the District Tournament gets underway here at the Magoffin County High School this coming Monday. And a lot of feature stories and a lot of information in tomorrow's paper. It is likely to most assuredly sell out tomorrow, so get you one when you can. The brackets have now been decided. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, but just to let you know, we have the 1 and 4 seed first game Monday night in girls play, Johnson Central and Magoffin County, and then the 2 and 3 seeds, Martin County and Paintsville, in game 2. That will be around 8:15 or so Monday night. Boys action, of course, will tip off Tuesday night. The 1 and the 4 seed there, again, Johnson Central and Magoffin County at 6:30. And then again, Martin County and Paintsville, the 2 and 3 seeds, around 8:10, 8:15 or so on Tuesday. It's going to be an exciting week of high school basketball. Soft serve ice cream, pretty tasty at the high school that they have now, in case you haven't sampled that. And a whole lot of other things, of course, to snack on and do. And it's going to be a great week, and we hope the weather is going to be nice. Right now, looking very favorable for getting out and taking in some district basketball action. A lot of headlines tonight, including we said goodbye today at funeral services to a member of the family and a friend here, and I've got a story that I did with her back during the earlier part of the pandemic that I want to replay tonight. So it was a good one then. I think it had some of the highest views on social media of anything that I've done, and I'll be honored to share that with you in a few seconds. But a host of news and information tonight, including your forecast, where I'm so glad to say snow, all forms of precipitation are pretty much gone for this hour. I hesitate to say we do have a chance for some lingering snow, light snow during the overnight, less than an inch, if anything, I think we'll see tomorrow. Local Doppler radar is pretty clear at this time, but the potential for a few flakes early tomorrow, overnight and early tomorrow, and then we're going to see some sunshine and dry conditions, but very cold temperatures. We're under a cold weather advisory, brutally cold, wind chills 0 and 10, like we've already kind of become accustomed to. Don't take them for granted, however, just because we've been there and done that over the past several weeks or first couple of months now into 2025. It's going to be dangerously cold. Wind chills will be a factor, and we'll talk about that in just a few seconds. Let's begin tonight with Governor Beshear and his update this morning is in regards to the flooding and winter weather. 220 Kentucky roads still closed earlier this morning. The majority of them, about 210, due to high water. There were 10 mudslides that were being removed and 1 rock slide as well. Now those are 220 state roads, mind you, and federal roads. None of those have any. None of that has any bearing on county roads across many of the Kentucky counties, which of course have been hit so hard. From there, he did speak of the number of flood-related fatalities, which has held steady since our last report last night at 14. And he also had an update that it is believed that everyone is accounted for all those who were initially missing. And he also spoke about the ongoing rescue operations, which are nothing short of miraculous at times.
Okay, on the flood yesterday, while conducting search and rescue flights, the Kentucky State Police Aircraft Branch located a dock connected to 15 boats that had broken away and washed down the Kentucky River. The flight crew coordinated with first responders on the ground to identify and secure the dock before it collided with the bridge. Kentucky State Police pilots have flown federal emergency management officials over flooded areas to try to expedite our requests for individual assistance. This morning, I also want to thank our fish and wildlife officers. Kentucky game wardens from across the state have been tirelessly working since Saturday night and conducting countless land and water rescues and delivering critical life-sustaining supplies to disaster victims. During this tragedy, it's been uplifting and promising to see first responders and community members unite as humanitarians to save lives. The Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources is prepared and committed to continue to provide response efforts as needed. They're using boats and off-road vehicles to gain access to areas that are not reached by conventional means, and they continue to conduct welfare checks, answer calls for medical emergencies, and to deliver food, water, cleaning supplies, and sources of fuel. Since Saturday night, 2 game wardens navigated high water by vehicle and on foot to rescue a family in Perry County near the Big Creek area whose home was being overtaken by floodwaters. The wardens carried an infant and a 3-year-old child through rushing floodwaters and returned to the residence to extract the remainder of the family, delivering them all to dry land. And on Tuesday, Kentucky game wardens navigated 20 miles of round-trip treacherous, debris-filled waters by boat near Johns Creek area of Floyd County, where they rescued an elderly woman in need of critical medical assistance. This effort took several hours. These are just a couple examples of the good work of Fish and Wildlife, and these stories you could tell for all of these boat crews, all of these first responders, just incredible heroism, time and time again. And when you see it, they get these people to safety. They jump right back in the boat, right back in that helicopter, and they get back out there to help even more people.
Bashir added that power outages are down from the initial 40-plus thousand down to about 1,700 or so. He also announced that GM was activating their OnStar services for all GM automobiles in the state of Kentucky for a period of time throughout this emergency for anyone who may, of course, need that immediate service. That applies to about 200,000 cars that are registered in the state of Kentucky that have the OnStar equipment. He also says that there are early numbers, thanks to county PBAs and other officials, as to what damages are adding up to. He also stressed that these are still early numbers, but already over $1 billion in damages.
A final thank you to our PVAs, our Property Value Administrators. See, in this application for individual assistance, we got to give numbers. We got to give proof. And they've been working really hard to overlay where the flooding was on top of their property valuation maps to show the value of property that's been impacted and damaged. That doesn't give us an exact damage figure, but it does tell you what the potential scope can be. KYEM estimates there are approximately 18,500 properties that have been affected with a total assessed value of over $1.2 billion. Again, that's not the overall damage to structures, that's the value of the structures that have been impacted, and those are only residences, courthouse, and structures. It's not talking about infrastructure that could also and has been impacted.
Some good news from last night's McGoffin Fiscal Court meeting is next.
At Big Sandy Healthcare, every patient is seen as an individual deserving of respect, compassion, and top quality care. For us, it isn't about who they are or where they come from, but about the dignity and the care that they deserve. Our commitment goes beyond simply treating diseases. We tackle food insecurity, transportation problems, and other barriers many of our patients experience that hold them back from living fuller, healthier lives. At Big Sandy Healthcare, that's what sets our organization apart.
It's as hearty as it is convenient. It's delicious, creamy, savory goodness all in one. Get a famous pot pie while they're hot. Only $7.19 plus tax year-round. But only until February the 16th can you grab a home-style bowl combo. Mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, chicken, and cheese. Truly comfort food at your Sagersville Lee's famous recipe. What are you going to get over your ice?
Johnson Central High School stands alone in providing the most college and career programs of study in one building throughout the entire state of Kentucky. This includes pathways in everything from the medical field to engineering, telemedia, welding, agriculture, and even aviation. And that's just to name a few of the 32 different choices. Work has also been started on a brand new state-of-the-art high school. So now is the time for your child to experience the power of opportunities in Johnson County schools.
Every season brings its own challenging driving conditions and some more than others. Stay up to that challenge at Conley's. Check out their monthly specials on the best tires. Their $35 computer diagnostic and over 30 years of brakes and oil and maintenance to keep you rolling. Conley Tire in Staffordsville and ConleyTire.net. February is American Heart Month, and because cardiovascular disease takes more lives every year than any other cause, we want to make sure you're heart healthy. By taking the necessary steps, checking your BP, your body mass index, and glucose and cholesterol levels. Improve your heart health and talk to any of our pharmacists today at Parkway Pharmacy.
I believe in Kentucky. I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small town values.
And mom and dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
It excites me to the point that there might be a big old kid getting on there and checking it out when it's here, and it's not going to be all that long. An announcement that the new $500,000 playground coming to the Ramey Park is very, very close to becoming a reality. We'll talk about that, as well as some updates on some other park projects, and then a resolution that led way into shining a little bit of light on just how the cross-country path of the widening of 114 between Salyersville and Prestonsburg is going to lay out. First up, an update on a number of projects that they've actually been able to complete with the weather being as it has been. That coming from Deputy Judge Kevin Howard. First, the new shelter at the Ramey Park is just about complete, and some big news. It's hard to imagine that it's almost here, but the new $500,000 or so all accessible playground that's going to be built in the far end of the park next to the softball field, well, it is on its way. It is set to be delivered sometime in March, and they will be setting it up just as soon as possible thereafter. And that's very soon, as February is just about over. The Battlefield Park as well has a new shelter, which is just now complete with new tables, while the court went on to approve their annual 80-20 match bridge replacement program to replace 8 old wood deck bridges here in Magoffin County and make other repairs as needed. This will be 2 bridges on Beechtree, 1 on Combs Branch, I believe 2 on Cow Creek, 1 on Half Mountain, and a couple of others in the Route 7 area, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And in other road matters, the fiscal court approved a resolution with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for the use of county roads for the widening project of 114 from Salyersville to Prestonsburg. This resolution sheds a little light on plans for this new cross-country stretch.
Basically, they're getting the right-of-way to use and repair roads when they're damaged to part of the process on the Short Fork, Dry Bread, Wholesale Road, and Allen Spalding Cemetery Road. And they will repair them back to the original state, whatever surfaces on there.
So we're going to take care of all the damage.
Take care of all the damage.
Yeah.
But I told them we just went up Short Fork and put blacktop down there a couple years ago. So.
Yeah.
But basically what they're doing, just real quick, we met a couple weeks ago, and they're going to be using Short Fork and right there where the old WPA building was at Trussell.
Yeah.
And then right across the line in Floyd County, and they're going to access the ridge line because the road is going to be built along the ridge. There'll be 2 bridges. There'll be one across Dry Bread and one across what they call, I guess, State Road Fork in Floyd County. Then the rest of the entire stretch of that road to Prestonsburg is going to be on the ridge tops. There'll be no more bridges. Till you get over there, there's going to be a smaller one at Prestonsburg Elementary as an on and off to the 4-lane. And then there's going to be a roundabout, and there's a whole bunch of different design things there. But that's the long and short of how the design's going. So they're going to be accessing the road there. The piece connecting 114-460 to the new road will be the last part that's done. So they'll access the hills up those roads that I just mentioned. They'll be working off side out of mine. Just seeing the construction with signs and vehicles going in and out until it gets near completion, and then they'll come off the hill toward tying everything in.
There was also another resolution approved by the court of magistrates not being hit near as hard as so many of our neighbors by the flooding. The county was able to enter into a mutual aid agreement with Knott County, which had reached out, which also has over 40 roads that are still impassable. Magoffin County to provide equipment and an operator to assist with those repairs, and the Magoffin County will be reimbursed by the Transportation Cabinet at a later date. They're planning on sending that equipment and personnel on Monday of this week. Up next, tonight's Magoffin Farm Bureau calendar, and the calendar starts off with one of those full disclosure moments. I hate doing this, but I hate worse to miss a birthday, and I think this one came in for late last week, so it is belated, and it's on me, Joey. but with a lot of love from Ruby, the kids, Jacob, Melissa, Tyler, Leah, and Austin. A happy 69th birthday to you, and now because of my mishap, a happy belated 69th birthday to Joey Arnott. Happy birthday to you. 97th birthday wishes from friends Hanson and Michael Rao with a whole lot of love to Miss Audrey Cooper. Happy 97th birthday to you. From there, a happy 5th birthday to Raylan. This is Raylan Patrick. And with a lot of love from Daddy, Pap, and Mama, the happiest of 5th birthdays to this young lady, Raylan. Happy birthday to you. One more for tonight. An 11th birthday wish going out to Addison Carpenter from her mom and dad, Mimi, Ricky, Nan, and Poppy, family and friends. A happy 11th birthday, Miss Madison Carpenter. And I've also got, just to make sure I'm getting everybody here, birthday wishes called in to Miss Addison from Papa and Nana Rao. Happy birthday. This from the Kiwanis Club here in Sayersville. They're having a recruitment meeting coming up this Tuesday, 6 o'clock at Sayersville Renaissance. If you're interested in learning more about what is Kiwanis, come and join them. They'll be there at 6 o'clock at Sayersville Renaissance. They hope to see you there, and they hope to have some new members join them for all of their efforts in Sayersville. Oh, and by the way, commodities for the Magafa County Senior Citizen Center for tomorrow. Well, no surprise, they have been canceled. They did their best to try to get this one in, but it's just been rough weather-wise. So it's canceled for tomorrow. Marlene has not set another date for commodity distribution as of yet, but just a reminder, commodities at your Senior Citizen Center for tomorrow, this Thursday, has been canceled and will be announced at a later time. Don't forget about the Diabetes Connection series, one every month, hosted by ARH as well as the Magafa County Extension Service. The next one will be on the 27th. That is a Thursday, discussing nutrition, 10 o'clock in the mornings at the Extension Service or on Zoom. You can find out more about Zoom by calling either of those folks, and they'll be glad to assist. Call me when you have calendar announcements. I'm glad to assist with those. And that's birthdays, of course, and anniversaries, too. One announcement tonight, a reminder of services to begin Saturday at 1 for 48-year-old Clyde Shepard of Prestonsburg. He passed away Sunday at the Good Samaritan Hospital in Lexington, survived by his fiancee Heather, daughters Abigail Grace Shepard, Jasmine Porter, Carly Porter, son Cole Porter, his brothers Clayton and Eddie Dean and TJ Shepard, and sisters Jennifer Prater and Lula Shepard. Services will start Saturday at 1 from the Prestonsburg Church of Christ, under the care of the Magafa County Funeral Home. SMB is proud to stand with you with what might be your very first and definitely last checking, savings, retirement, even Christmas Club account, along with consumer, auto, mortgage, business loans that you can easily manage from anywhere in the world with safe, secure mobile and online banking that comes from over 120 years of commitment to your financial life and well-being, today, tomorrow, and forever. Sayersville National.
Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood, the dynamic duo from television's Whose Line Is It Anyway, are coming to town, and they're asking for trouble.
Our show is completely made up.
Prepare for a side-splitting interactive extravaganza as these improv wizards hit the stage, serving up a night of unscripted comedy gold.
It sounds like a big waste of time and a lot of money.
It is.
Don't miss Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood. Catch them on Sunday, May 18th at the Mountain Arts Center. Get your tickets today at macarts.com.
Atrial fibrillation is one of the more common rhythms we see.
AFib is an arrhythmia of the heart where the top part of the heart is beating erratically and out of sync with the bottom part of the heart.
The electrophysiology service is made up of a team of healthcare providers, and that includes an electrophysiology lab where we're able to do procedures to help repair heart rhythm problems. When a patient becomes heart rhythm free, it can really restore their life.
ARH, more for Appalachia.
I've got one more story that I want to re-air for you before I leave you in just a few moments. First, though, let's check out your weather forecast. Indeed, wind chills 0 or just a bit above. That's our biggest factor right now in the weather, after the majority of the snow and everything else along with it is out of here, at least mostly, leaving myself all sorts of outs for now. The cold is sticking around. It's embedded. It's not going anywhere for a little while. But the snow, on the other hand, is indeed out of here. And to that I say goodbye, good riddance. And I like the snow. But let's move on, shall we? And indeed, as you see, that's what's happening. Snow is moving on. Now, that's not to say we're not going to see a few flakes. Nothing on the radar as of right now, but there's a possible for a little light accumulation that we'll have to talk about in just a few moments as far as your short-term forecast. We do have a cold weather advisory in effect until 11 o'clock Thursday morning. This from 1 in the morning to 11 in the morning tomorrow. Very cold wind chills at 0 or 10 above are expected. As we topped out today at 23.5 degrees after a 15-degree wake-up call this morning. Sunrise 7:17, sunset 6:17. While winds topped out at just under 14 miles per hour today, east-northeasterly right now around 3 miles per hour. Now, we're not out of the woods. The radar shows at this hour, and I want to stress this portion of the program was recorded earlier today due to, of course, my being elsewhere for family reasons and the like, but moving on, we will have snow rolling back in tonight. It's going to be light snow, but it could put down less than an inch of accumulation. We're talking later on tonight, well after dark and up until about 1 a.m. or so. So look for that in the morning. It's going to be super cold when we bottom out at 14, and a skiff of snow could cause some very slick roads because they're very frozen out there. Cloudy skies for the rest of your Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Don't forget tomorrow's big edition of the Sayersville Independent District Tournament time. Need to get one before they're gone. They will all be gone tomorrow. Snow showers tomorrow, likely before 11, less than a half inch possible in the morning. Temperatures 23 and 10. You factor in northwesterly winds 5 to 16. There's those wind chills we don't want to talk about. Friday, 32 and mostly sunny. 42 and mostly sunny on your Saturday. That is an improvement. And Sunday, not all that bad either. 44, mostly sunny. Dry, clear, not too shabby. Now, precipitation chances, as you may have noticed, kind of work their way back in on Monday. But they're light and they're not white. Not that we need the rain, just saying. It's different. But look at the temperatures. 53 and some sunshine on your Monday, partly sunny skies. 20% chance of rain carries into a 30% chance of rain on Tuesday. Temperatures in the mid-50s. I'm a little on the fence about Wednesday, whether or not they'll back off or maybe stay around 55. We're going to call it 51 right now with still partly sunny skies and nighttime lows well above the freezing mark Wednesday night, accompanied with still a pesky 30% chance of rain. But I don't need to remind anyone that that is far away from everything that we have just had to make our way through. So, spring, getting closer all the time. Oh, and I'm ready. So earlier today, we said goodbye to a family member of ours here in the Mortimer household and so many others, and to just a wonderful, loving, gentle lady who loved her family as dearly as anybody could, as well as her church and her neighbors, and the ability for her to cook and give feed and treats to others. And her community day cakes are something that made headlines literally on this show and in the paper, not just because she was family, but rightfully so. Mandy Prater was indeed one of a kind, and we said goodbye to her at funeral services earlier today. And back in 2020, still relatively early on in the pandemic, I sat down on Mandy's porch and followed her around her yard as we did the following story about her. And after pulling it up last night to kind of review it in preparation for saying a few words about her today, I felt impelled to air that again tonight, because a lot of folks, anyone who ever met her for a brief or a moment or extended amount of time, all had the same impression of her. It was a story back when the pandemic was, as bad as it had been, and it continued on from there. It was a story that proves that sometimes something good can come out of something bad. It was a story about how she had just recently lost her brother Troy, and began to ring the bell in her yard every morning at 10 in his honor, as church bells were ringing at 10 all across the Commonwealth for all of those lives that we had lost to COVID. She rang that bell every morning, weeks, months, into years throughout the pandemic. And then at some point it transitioned for her as to who she was also ringing that bell for. And that's why I thought it would be appropriate to air tonight in Mandy's honor. Since the pandemic began and churches started ringing their bells for those that we have lost, Amanda Prater, Mandy, has made it a point and a mission since April to make her way to her backyard every morning, except one, at 10 o'clock to ring the antique bell high above her head, most often with many tears shed along the way. Tears and steps taken with thoughts of her brother, Troy Gullett, who on July the 28th, at the age of 77, became one of the now nearly 1,000 Kentuckians to die from COVID-19 complications. Like many that have died, Troy had other serious health issues, but Mandy says it was the coronavirus that was too much for his body to bear.
He had it 3 weeks before he passed away. He stayed 3 days in the hospital down at Ashland, and he got to feeling a little, he was tested for it when they took him, his wife took him down there, and he tested positive. And he stayed there 3 days, and then they let him come home, and that was on Wednesday, and then on Monday, the next week, he got worse again, and they took him to Prestonsburg. And they tested him again, and he was tested positive. And he started suffering so bad, and he asked the doctor to put him on that ventilator. Said, "I can't breathe." And they put him on it, and he lasted from one day to the next, and he died in Pikeville Hospital.
We've all seen or heard of cases where entire families have caught the coronavirus from just one member being infected or coming into contact with one person that had it. And in other cases, like Troy's, we've heard of those where not even his wife, who cared for him for days and took him to the hospital, was infected. And in fact, she was the only one who didn't catch the coronavirus from where Troy did.
He got it at his church up at Hazard. That's where he caught it at. There was a guy up there, and he didn't know he had it. And he hugged Troy's neck and shook hands with him. And also he hugged Troy's wife and shook hands with her. And she never did come down with it.
Did anybody else in the church end up with it?
Everybody else but Troy's wife. Even the preacher.
If you live in Dixie, Mandy's yard and mine literally connect. But if you live anywhere around, you know the sound of that bell. You know when it's 10 o'clock, and you know that you've heard it perhaps every single morning since April, as I said earlier, except for one.
I missed one day, and I was gone to Troy's funeral. And I think I'm the only one that's got a bell here in Dixie.
Well, that was my next and maybe my last question. How long have you had this bell, and why did you have it in the first place?
Well, it was here when I moved here, 40-some years ago. Alma Frazier's mom and dad had put it up, and she used to ring it every day at 12 o'clock. They'd be down there in the field working, hoeing corn and stuff. And when she'd get dinner ready, she'd come out here and ring this bell. And they would know she had dinner ready, and they'd come to eat. I'd say this bell's been here 60 or 70 years.
Same bell, same old pole that it's sat on all these decades, a new rope. And with Troy's passing, a new reason, Mandy now tells me, for us to hear its chimes. Still daily, and perhaps forever, at 10 a.m.
I've been ringing it for my brother Troy, passed away with this disease. And I've decided now I'm going to ring it every day for McGoffin County. And I hope and pray this will bring my loved ones and my friends down on their knees and accept the Lord before it's too late. And I pray we never know from one day to the next who's going to be gone. And I love everybody. And I hope and pray when they hear me ringing this bell every day that they'll fall down upon their knees and start praying for salvation. I want to meet them all in heaven someday.
I've got to say that hearing that bell each morning has really been a moving experience for myself, knowing for months that Mandy was ringing it for lives that had suffered through and lost to COVID-19, and then realizing that her brother had become one of them. It's heart-wrenching, to say the least. But at the same time, every time I hear it, there's a smile and there's a warm feeling that rushes over me because I know our Mandy is over there, just over the fence. I can't see her, but I can hear her. I know she's there. And I know she's there with her caring heart that wants nothing more than to spread love and salvation. And that, as I said back in 2020, is something that the whole world could always use a lot more of. We love and miss our Mandy, and we will forever, as will everyone else, of course, who paid their respects to her today or who were unable to make it there, but just know of the loss that she will leave behind. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy your evening, and I will see you back here tomorrow for news that you're only going to see with me. Thank you for being a part of the show.